we will discuss about fiscal deficit. Okay, fiscal deficit. See, fiscal deficit means it's actually borrowings only. So you can write the technical definition, then I will explain what you mean by this borrowing. Okay, just write the technical definition. It is the excess of total expenditure of the government. It is the excess of total expenditure of the government over its total receipts. Total expenditure over its total receipts other than borrowings. Other than borrowings during a financial year. During a financial year. So it is the excess of total expenditure of the government over its total receipts other than borrowings during a financial year. So total expenditure minus total receipts except borrowings. Okay, so total receipts, borrowing will also come. If you remember, in the previous session I have told you, in the receipts it's something which you are receiving, right? So in that borrowings will also come, so that will be excluded here. So ultimately, what does it mean? It means the borrowings only. So fiscal deficit is actually the borrowings. Okay, or if you see here, fiscal deficit is what I've told you is total expenditure minus you can see the receipts. There are two types, right? Revenue receipts plus, see, borrowing will come under where? Capital receipts or revenue receipts? Where the borrowings will come?
Capital receipt.
Why it will come in capital receipts?
Because
it's a liability. It's a liability, right? So it will come under capital receipts. So can I say total expenditure minus entire revenue receipts will come? Now from total expenditure minus total receipts except borrowing. So total expenditure is done. Now I need to talk about total receipts minus borrowing. So total receipts means what? Revenue receipts plus capital receipts, right? This is what your total receipts. But from capital receipts only, what I need to exclude? Borrowing. So can I write revenue receipts completely here? Yes, I can write. Okay, then plus from the capital receipts, what you need to add is the non-debt creating capital receipts. Okay, debt creating capital receipt is actually borrowing. So just write here non-debt creating capital receipt. Do you understand what I mean by this? See, simple term, fiscal deficit means what? Fiscal deficit means total expenditure minus total receipts excluding the borrowing part, right? So total expenditure, exactly that I've written. Now total receipts minus borrowing is what I need. So total receipt is nothing but revenue receipt and capital receipt. So borrowing will come in capital receipt. So I can write the revenue receipt here, and from capital receipt I need to exclude borrowing. So I can say non-debt creating capital receipt, or I'll show you in this way also. When we discuss about budget, I've told you, you have receipts and you have expenditure. So receipts are of two types, right? Revenue receipt and also capital receipt. In this we have discussed related to assets increasing and or assets decreasing and liability also. This we have discussed, right? Asset and liability related part. Now in expenditure, what are the two types? Revenue expenditure, capital expenditure. Okay, so when we talking about fiscal deficit, what we have done here, if you see this total expenditure I have taken, right? So that is what total expenditure. Then minus what I have done here, I am taking revenue receipts from the receipt side. So what I will take this part, no, revenue receipts, this I will take, correct? And then so minus revenue receipt, and then from here can I take it completely? No. What I need to exclude here, this liability portion I need to exclude, right? So I will take this assets only, this only. Non-debt creating. Why it is non-debt creating? If you turn your page back, I have told you it is related to the disinvestment or selling of assets, etc. These are not creating any debt. But liability, what we have discussed, the borrowing. So this is the borrowing part. So we exclude this. So this part will come. That is what you mean by non-debt creating. Non-debt creating asset, okay, or non-debt creating capital receipt. So I hope this is clear. So total expenditure minus total receipt, in that you exclude borrowing. So ultimately fiscal deficit means what? Fiscal deficit is actually the borrowing. To meet the fiscal deficit, only you are actually borrowing. Okay, so that is why fiscal deficit can be understood as borrowing. Just write one line. It measures total borrowings of the government. It measures total borrowings of the government from all sources during a financial year. During a financial year. It is the most comprehensive concept of budgetary deficits. It is the most comprehensive concept of budgetary deficits. Okay, one more point you can write. Its impact on economic development. Its impact on economic development depends on the use of borrowed funds. Its impact on economic development depends on the use of borrowed funds. Okay, one more line. This point we will discuss in detail later. We will discuss about FRBM Act. Okay, so just write one more line which is connected to fiscal deficit here. As per the Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act, as per the Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act, FRBMA 2003, the government have to reduce fiscal deficit to 3% of GDP or less by 2008. 3% or less by 2008. Okay, I'll tell you how you will write this or how you will see this this fiscal deficit. It's like this. First you will see the previous year. Let's say previous year is 2018-19, right? Or what I have data is actually 2015-16. So this is how generally you will see. So 2015-16. So here you will get the actual data of last year, one column. Okay, then you will go for current year, that is 19-20, right? So current year will be like 2000. Let's say here it is 2015-16 is taken. So imagine current year is 2016-17, and then it will be 2016-17. There will be two estimates. One will be the budget estimate. Okay, that will be in Feb, and then there will be a revised estimate. I'm coming to 2018-19 and all, but I'll tell you how you are writing it. This is how you will see when you are reading this budget and everything in future. Okay, so to 2016-17, so current year you will see budget estimate and revised estimate. Then you will also see next year. So there will be a budget estimate, right? Next year will be in this context 2017-18. So here also you will have only one column, that is budget estimate. So you can see here, if you see here, three columns, right? So this is the previous year. So this is previous year. So here you will be getting the actual data. Actual data will be available, whatever it is, fiscal deficit, actual data will be available. So here you have two, budget estimate and then revised estimate. So let's say this is 3.5, actual value only, and revised also it was 3.5, and the estimate for next year it was 3.2%. Okay, now it will definitely increase now. Now see here, next year what will happen? This will become the current year, right? Next year this will become the current year. So what will come in the middle? 2017-18, and in that there will be a budget estimate and there will be a revised estimate. Okay, and then what will happen with this? Then this will become the previous year, right? So this is how you will see then. So 2016-17 will become the previous year, and here you will get the actual data. This is previous year, this is current year. So you will get the actual data here. You will get the actual data, and then 2018-19, this is the next year. So what will be this column? This is the budget estimate. So you can see here, previous year you will get the actual data, correct one. Here there will be two, budget estimate and revised estimate, and then here for next year budget estimate. So what will be the case of next year? You will just extend, right? Next year what will happen? This will become the current year, then this will become the previous year. So here you will get the actual data. These two will not be there, only this will be there. Here you will have a revised estimate, and then you will have a next year, that is 2019-20, that is the budget estimate. So this is how you will see the values which will be represented. So these are the values which I have given, and we will update it later. Towards the end of this module I can update all these values. So right now just take down these this idea. This is how you will write. Okay, now the next topic is adverse impact. Now zero based budget we always follow. That is a method of budgeting. No, every time if you are allocating fund, it is based on that. Sometimes you will follow, sometimes you may not follow. So here the adverse impact of fiscal deficit.